This episode of Conversations with Linda is brought to you by Victoria Brown at For Success Realty. Call Victoria for your boutique experience. As your realtor, she will advocate for you. Whether you are looking to buy or sell, she will work tirelessly to promote your best interest. That's Victoria Brown at For Success Realty. Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Linda. I'm Linda. Listen, y'all know I love a good conversation, so let's have one. Now, before we have a conversation, let's have a dose of good medicine. Laughter is good for the soul. Listen, did y'all hear the one about the ice cream man that had a wreck in his ice cream truck? You know he blamed it on hitting a rocky road. That was so funny to me. Come on and laugh a little bit. You need a good dose of medicine. Now let's go on into our conversation. As many of you know, our last episode was May 18th of 2020. That was last year. And I wanted to take this first episode of our new season to talk about why that was my last episode. What have I been doing? Why am I just coming back with Conversations with Linda? So I've invited my old co-host, Courtney Richardson, to share in this conversation, and let's catch up, not just on what's been going on with me, but what's been going on in the world since we last had a conversation. Welcome, Courtney.
Hey there, how you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
All right.
Surviving COVID?
Absolutely.
Alive and well.
Alive and well. That's the good news.
At least alive.
I'm claiming well.
Yeah.
I'm claiming well.
Absolutely. What has been going on with you?
Well, and hey, everybody, y'all know I love having this conversation with you. I am just so excited to be back. But just to catch up, many of you know that last year I found out that I had a brain aneurysm.
That's right.
And Courtney, it was the day that we were taping
Your birthday episode.
my birthday episode.
Your birthday
That's when I
episode.
was going to talk about Linda-isms,
Yeah.
all that I had learned and what I would tell my younger self. You remember that?
Because let me tell you who was actually on the show.
Okay.
Prophetess.
Lisa
And
Lisa
Prophetess
Gibson?
Lisa Gibson.
Okay.
And
Kelly.
No. Kelly and
Kalisha.
Kalisha were the episode before that.
Okay,
and
okay.
then you had to bring some mature women on the show.
Okay, that's right.
Remember?
That's right. To
Deborah
talk about-
Peppers and Lisa
Right.
Gibson
To
were on
talk
the show.
about some mature content. Okay.
Because you cut up. On your last episode, you cut up.
Absolutely. I was turning 53
Uh-huh.
and I was excited about it.
Uh-huh.
And on that very day, I had gotten home,
Yeah.
gotten in the garage, and you know how we have to decompress in the garage. That's what I was doing.
That's right.
Opened up my email, and there was my results from a test that I had taken.
Okay.
I had been to the ENT because I heard a little noise in my ear, sounded like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And had it for some months, but COVID hit, and I said, well, let me wait a little while. And so I went once I felt safe enough to do so. And he thought everything was fine, too. He was like, as we get older, and of course, it was my birthday.
Things happen.
He was like, as we get older, the lining of our eardrum begins to thin out. And so he was getting ready to walk out of the room and dismiss me. And he came back and he said, you know what, I think we ought to just run some tests to rule out anything. He said, you okay with that? I was like, well, sure. And lo and behold, a few days later, there I was sitting in that garage getting my results through the medical portal. Technology has just, made everything accessible at your fingertips. And there it was. I had an aneurysm.
Wow.
And so
in the garage,
finding out that.
aneurysm. So what were your initial thoughts?
So my first thought was, okay, you've got to tell your husband. And so that was my first thought. I mean, we had been together. This year's 35 years. Last year was 34. That was the first person I was going to tell.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I said. I told him to come on home because I needed to talk to him.
Okay.
And that's how it went. And so we were preparing for that episode.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, do I cancel the episode? What do I do?
You know, now this is so rich.
Okay,
'Cause every
okay.
time when I hear this story, it's so much other stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you spent some time, and I know we got to go on.
Uh-huh.
You spent some time at the house by yourself
I
before
did.
Bishop got there.
I did.
What was that like, just briefly?
You know, it was, as a mental health therapist, I can tell you that when you go through some kind of trauma or tragedy, really the first stage you go through is shock.
Yeah.
And so I think I was in that numb shock phase of, I wasn't in any pain, so I didn't know what to feel.
Yeah.
So I wasn't at a breakdown, oh my God, I'm getting ready to die. I was just trying to wrap my mind around, okay, what is my next step? Because I hadn't even talked to the doctor.
Right, right.
And so, you know, what's my next step? How am I going to tell him? You know, and then the show must go on.
The show. Because we had to do conversations.
We had to do
Because we had our
conversations.
people booked.
Absolutely.
All of that.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud of you for persisting through that.
Thank
through
you,
that
thank
show.
you. All
Yeah,
right.
it was, you know, you did.
Yeah, it was something.
So you get the results that you have an aneurysm, and so now you have to go through, you know, and I kind of remember the process.
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
to go through getting a first opinion, a second opinion.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't know, at that point, they didn't know whether it was my heart or my brain.
Okay.
So I had to go to the cardiologist first and get it ruled out that it wasn't my heart.
Okay.
And heart conditions run in my family.
Absolutely.
And so cardiologist said, you're great, no problem. It was going to the neurologist and finding out where it was lodged right by the brain.
And right behind the optic nerve.
And so in having the surgery, so let's fast forward. After May, I went through, you know, going through a lot of tests. And then ultimately the neurologist saying, let's watch it for 5 years. Right? And I'm like, ma'am, huh? So I got to be honest with y'all. I was feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
First of all, we were right smack in the middle of Black Lives Matter.
Yes, we were.
So I'm listening to this other persuasion tell me. Now, you know, we keep it real right here on Conversations with Linda.
Telling you to watch it.
Saying, let's just watch a brain aneurysm.
Now, meanwhile, since we're talking about other persuasion, I talk to my other persuasion friends, like these folks with money and carrying on, and I tell them, you know, my mother, you know, had an aneurysm, you know, and the doctor said to just watch it for 5 years, where immediately he was like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Watching that for 5 years could be in 2 days.
Right.
This aneurysm could cause her to have
Absolutely.
it could explode. And so I'm hearing the other persuasions say how they really get treated. And you're having this feeling of, you telling me this because...
Right. Because you don't care about me.
Because you don't
Because
care.
I don't matter.
Yeah,
That's what I was really thinking, because you're saying I don't matter.
Yeah,
And so what she was saying is the latest research says that you don't need to do anything, because there is some danger in going in dealing with an aneurysm, because you got to go to the brain.
Yeah.
But she was saying to me, you know, the latest research says wait till it's a 7 centimeter.
Yeah.
Right? Well, 7. Can you imagine 7 centimeters? And so.
And you already got your heart beating in your ears.
Absolutely.
What's gonna come with it? So do you remember how many centimeters?
So it started out being 3.5.
Okay, and by
but
the
they
time...
found out in the next, by the time I had surgery, it had grown a centimeter.
Wow.
So anyway, you know, so I went from May till about October, trying to praying, saying, Lord, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because I'd never even gone to a neurologist. I didn't know any other neurologists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, and were they going to say the same thing?
And so we were out of church.
Right.
We were not going to church services.
Yeah.
You were trying to figure this out. We were still going. And the first live service we attended,
because one of our friends,
which was in Little Rock,
invited my husband to preach, Bishop to preach, and we were like, you know, why can't we just do virtual, you know? And he was like, no, you need to come over here. Yeah. Well, honey, let me tell you, I went to that service. There were really maybe 10 people in the whole building, huge church, 10 people in the whole building, because they were recording.
Absolutely.
But that was the first time I had really gotten emotional about it. I don't know if it was the message that day or what, but something
was the message.
Yeah. And so, you were with me.
Just in case anybody watches.
You were actually with us.
I was there.
And we had shouted. And look, for you folk don't know about shouting and stuff, that's what we do, right? Because we are Christians. We are, we're Pentecostal Baptists, all of that. We're charismatic. So we were shouting and dancing and all that, but then the heaviness of it came upon me.
We looked up and she was on the floor.
I was on the altar. On the altar.
Not that she doesn't go to the altar, but you got to know that we were all taken aback because we like, okay, what's going on here?
Hey, listen, I was on the altar. Sometimes you got to get before the master. Sometimes you got to go on your face. And that's what I did. And long story short, I said to the Lord, I was like, God, you've used me in so many other people's healings. Because I believe in laying hands on the sick.
And you got results.
And I've seen results. All right. So I was like, now, God, you can't leave me out here by myself. You got to lead me into what to do. Wow. So anyway, long story short. This story is getting longer and longer.
Okay.
Isn't it?
You want me to tell the rest?
Because
you're telling it.
Yeah, we shared with our friends afterwards, Pastor Eric Alexander, his wife, Sanetta, afterwards. And they prayed with us in his office, and then the next morning, I think it was, is when he called and he said, Linda, the Lord woke me up and just said, reminded me that Sanetta, that was his wife, worked for she worked in the hospital with a neurologist.
In Little Rock, Arkansas.
In Little Rock. Who would have ever thought that there was a whole neurological center over in Little Rock,
Arkansas, and it is the #1 neurological center in America.
And he is the #1 doctor. People come from all over the country, the world, to see him. So on November 25th, that's where we're trying to go. I had surgery to deal with that aneurysm. I went in and had brain surgery, and it was during COVID. And my husband had to kiss me in the lobby, and I had to walk up and go through that whole thing, be in the hospital 3 or 4 days. But here I am. I live to tell about it.
You live to tell about it. Yeah, she called us. She FaceTimed us that night, like Superwoman-esque. We were there in the home.
Remember
and
it.
She doesn't remember how she got her phone.
No.
But the people said, in true Linda fashion, she telling the nurses, "Where's my phone? Give me my phone."
I had to let my people know I was all right.
But she don't remember any of that.
No, I don't remember
we were
any
sitting
of that.
at the table eating chicken, I would imagine, I believe. KJ and Kelly cooked. And
because you all were in Hot Springs.
We were in Hot Springs.
We had rented an Airbnb because I was going to recover there for a few days before making it back to Memphis. So I stayed in the hospital a few days and then stayed in Hot Springs, and then we came on back.
She FaceTimed us. It was immediate.
I have no recollection of that.
So how is it going now? So you're recovering now. One of the things that you always say is, don't take yourself too seriously. And you got to be able to joke about your own self.
So I can laugh about this now, but because they went in my skull and went behind my optic nerve, one of the results of that was one eye was closed. Do you remember that?
I remember.
And so, I had to be all right with one eye being closed. I don't know. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. I don't know who you are and what you're going through, but you've got to take yourself lightly. And no, it wasn't a laughing matter, but I had to know that my brain being all right was more important than the temporary closure of my eye. So that was cosmetic stuff. They told me that my eye was going to reopen. They didn't know how long it would take. And ultimately, it only took maybe a week or two for it to really, come open. And sometimes it still gets a little tired, but I'm just so glad to be alive. The cosmetic stuff, I'm good with.
Well, you wearing it well. You are wearing it well. You got your hair cut even before you found out about it.
Because I figured I was going to have my hair shaved or something. And, the doctors, people can kind of figure you out. And they knew I was kind of a girly girl.
Absolutely.
And they said, the nurse, head nurse, she said, I'm going to make sure that I shave your hair. Yeah. She said, because the guys, they don't care. And they would have just, really kind of gave me,
just shaved
jacked me up.
But they shaved you along the actual
she did.
cut line.
And so I lost hair here. And so my scar, there's a C. And I say it's for Jesus Christ. There's a C. You got to lock up. You got to lock up. I says for Jesus Christ. And so it's right there up under there. My grandbaby, every now and then, she wants to lift my hair up. She said, Gigi, let me see your scar.
Oh,
and she says, oh, it's healing. So y'all, that's what happened. And that's why we didn't come back on, because I needed to take some time to get my life together and figure out. And I didn't want, listen to this, I wasn't sure, although I was handling it, okay, I wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do to carry the public with me on the journey. Yeah. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but in this particular case.
But what you did well, you informed, the church knew.
Yeah.
Your family knew.
Absolutely.
You were not secretive.
Yeah.
You didn't allow your pastoral hat to put you in this box where it's I'm the pastor. I can't go through. I got to go through this by myself. There were people all over, and I appreciate that about you, because in turn, what everybody has been able to watch is the journey from the diagnosis to even where we are now.
Listen, and it, I did take the time to tell my children first, and my extended family, so they could have time to, because my sister did not do well, Chad. She just did not. But, and we had lost my mom 3 or 4 years before that, so it was tender for her. But I needed to give everybody, to a place where they could ask all the questions, and then I went public. Yeah. So I appreciated the time that I had to be private with the family, but ultimately, I wanted people praying for me. Right. I wanted people supporting me, encouraging me.
So what we know, and I'm going to go on, so I'll go on now. What we know is that while COVID is going on, the fact that you had all of this going on is telling that COVID ain't the only thing going on.
Absolutely
But COVID has been something else.
Right. Well, I ended up having COVID.
Listen, 2 weeks before the surgery.
No, it was actually a month, but, not 2 weeks is by the time I got my negative results. So that I could go on through.
I know it was.
Yeah,
October
it was I had COVID. In November, I had the surgery.
And COVID is so interesting because Bishop and you and Bishop rolled to get the test together.
Right, and he didn't have it.
He didn't have it.
Oh, and guess what, y'all? I was so angry. I was like, I know you have given me COVID. Because, I was saying, I'm not going anywhere. He was still coming up to the church and doing all of that. We were recording at home. And I'm like, why do you keep going to Kroger?
Every day.
He go to Kroger. He loves Kroger.
Watermelon.
Shout out to Kroger. Yeah. And so I'm like, you have given me COVID. So we go and get the test, y'all, and I had it, and he did not have it.
And do you know what was interesting?
What was that?
We've never talked about this before. That week, I did not come over. We were not together.
Wow.
I wasn't with you or Bishop that entire week. And I was preparing to go to Louisiana. It was my first time traveling. So just imagine.
Yeah.
Because I had already landed in Louisiana when you got the results. Imagine if I was in Louisiana at these folks' church, exposed to COVID. You understand? But COVID has been going on. And so look, one of your spiritual daughters, my spiritual sister, got married during this time as well.
Absolutely. Shout out to Kalisha Sands, Kalisha Jones Sands.
Kalisha Jones Sands.
And Kalisha's been on the show.
Y'all remember Kalisha. In fact, you know what? Watch this clip of her.
So let's talk about what it is like being single in 2018. What is it looking like out there? What's the landscape like?
Slim.
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 Is your mic on?
Slim. Is my mic on? Can I hear the phone? It's a challenge. It is extremely challenging. I told my mom the other day in our many conversations about my single life. It's almost like, how you have a roll of tape and you're trying to find the start of the tape and you pull it and then a piece comes off and a whole other piece attached and then you pull it again and a longer piece comes off and you think you got it and then you start from the beginning and trying to get that whole piece and then you say throw the whole tape away. That is where I am. You get a person and you think okay maybe maybe, and then something's off.
All right, Kalisha, it's amazing how life, changes, turns, and at that time, no one was necessarily in sight, and now she's married.
Somebody was, they were not Chris Sands.
Absolutely.
They were not Chris Sands.
Absolutely.
And so that means, it's COVID, people have had to date during COVID.
Yeah. So now I'm married. What has dating been like in COVID?
You know, I did a Zoom date.
A Zoom date?
I did a Zoom date.
Tell me more. Tell me, as you say, tell me more.
It was dry. I did a Zoom date. We ate. We decided.
So y'all were Zooming and you were eating and she was eating?
So, yes, the young lady lives in Nashville.
Okay.
And, of course, we live in Memphis. Mm-hmm. And so there is a pizza place that is in Nashville. It's called, do you know the new pizza place?
Oh, Slim and Husky.
Slim and Husky.
Okay.
So we both got the same. We went to the same restaurant.
Okay, all right.
And we were eating Slim and Huskies, and we talked.
Oh, cool.
And we talked.
And so nothing came of that? All right.
It's okay. That's dating. Dating is about getting to know one another and getting to know whether or not you're going to go further with it. So I'm not disappointed.
Okay, you're not
when
disappointed.
Things don't go like, you know.
I won't dig any further.
Everything won't be marriage. Everything won't be marriage.
So how else are people dating? I mean, you know, what do you do?
So there are dating apps.
Okay, dating apps.
So Hinge is a dating app. Somebody told me about Bumblebee. And let me put this out here.
Okay.
Tinder, let me say it to the people. It's not a dating app. It's a hookup app.
Okay,
you ain't going to find your significant other on Tinder, but there are apps. Facebook even came out with a dating feature.
Oh.
Facebook has a dating feature.
So let me ask you something. Are you opposed to dating online?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I want to know from you all, are you opposed to dating online or are you open to it? What do you think about dating online? And I would love to do a whole show on this whole new landscape of dating and dating online. If you've dated online, let me know if you have had success. Listen, we've got a new website, www.lindawillisempowers.org. Am I .org or am I .com? I'm .org. So I want you all to give me that news, give me some information. How has it been going with you in dating and COVID, and whether or not you're open to dating online? And if you have, how has it been for you?
Yeah. So dating in the pandemic, you asked how it went. You know, sometimes people get canceled immediately after little certain things while they're dating. But we're dealing with this whole cancel culture period.
Right.
You can just do anything. How do you feel about the cancel culture?
So yeah, that's a new thing. And from what, if we define it, we're talking about
blackballing people.
Blackballing people.
Yeah.
And I think the issue is how quickly we cancel people. I'm not saying that there doesn't need to be some cancellations.
So let's do this. In the spirit of Jesse, give some situations where people need to be canceled.
Well, you know, I think that when people are not well, how about that? When they are not well, when they are not emotionally well, then you need to consider disconnecting. It's to keep yourself healthy.
Gotcha.
And because I think that's another part of the cancel culture is that we cancel people because of their deficiencies. But I think canceling so that they can take the time and not be consumed with you to get well.
Perhaps we cancel so quickly.
We cancel too
because
quickly.
we cancel ourselves often as well.
True.
So we are treating people how we actually treat ourselves, which eventually causes us to have to live in isolation or loneliness, et cetera, et cetera.
And, you know, that's my concern with the cancel culture is that you can't cancel everybody. I mean, listen, we are human beings.
We are created
and
to be
together, in community.
Together. If COVID didn't teach us anything else,
absolutely.
I heard introverts saying, where are the people?
Right. We went through something psychologically because we needed that contact. There were people who talked about they had not been touched in months. I'm not talking about touched in a sexual way. I'm just saying hug, embrace, any of that.
Do you know, I have coworkers who had children, a young lady had a child in like February of 2020. That child did not see another human.
Oh, wow.
Outside of mama, daddy, and nanny for the entire first year of that child's life. So it's going to be interesting to see the impact that COVID has on these 1-year-old, kids who were born.
Absolutely. And I'm concerned about the post-traumatic stress that symptoms that people will have as a result of what we've gone through with COVID. But I want to go back to this cancel culture because I think that's the danger.
Yeah.
Is where on the spectrum you are with canceling out everybody. That living in isolation, living alone, feeling as if you don't need anybody, feeling as if, because see, the danger of moving yourself away from everybody is you are left to yourself. And what you're gonna find out, put me on this camera right here, what you're gonna find out is you're not perfect either, sir, ma'am. And then you don't like yourself, you've removed everybody else, kicked them out of your life, and that begins the torment, that begins the bitterness, because you're not perfect, no one else is perfect, so where do you go? Do you run from yourself? So I think that we need to be a little bit slower to disconnect. I think that we need to be more embracing of people and that they're not perfect.
Even when she got a bonnet on in public.
Okay. Well now.
What about these bonnets in public?
Because that's another thing.
Because look now.
Conversations was not going on during the time of the bonnet conversation. And I was like, oh my God, I need to talk to the people.
About the bonnet?
About the bonnets. And I know everybody, they felt some kind of way, or some people, let me say, about Monique and her.
Hold on, what did Monique say about it?
She was the one that everybody was kind of riding. Well, not everybody. Let me back that up. Because she spoke to it.
She told them to stop wearing it.
Yes, that some things weren't appropriate.
She was really right.
Some people kind of had an issue with what she had on that day. And I didn't investigate
Smoke screen.
Right.
You can't listen to the content because you're going to pick some petty up like what she has on. She's in the comfort of her own home.
Right.
Speaking about your bonnet. Let's talk about this bonnet.
Okay, so let's talk about the bonnet.
Just don't take it off at the door. And let me tell you, my aunt, Auntie Deborah, shout out to Auntie Deborah. Auntie Deborah said, when you leave the house, you better make sure you look presentable because anything can happen when you leave that house.
But do you think that anybody cares anymore of what happens? Because people now are doing selfies where they're showing themselves before and then after. People now are kind of making a whole new, sensationalism about the before I put my makeup on and after.
So I think you've just created the principle here. Don't show the bonnet unless you got an after coming right along.
And so those of my generation, and we're going to talk about that, but those of my generation, we did. Your Auntie Deborah, our mothers told us, no, you can't go outside. I couldn't go outside without shoes on. That's how strict my mother was.
Okay.
You had to put shoes on your feet. And I was growing up at that time, I was in Oak Cliff, Texas, in the projects, in government housing. But she still felt that there was a dignity that we had to have, even growing up in the government projects.
Wow.
And that's why I couldn't go out without shoes on.
So is the bonnet situation showing us that this whole the presence of dignity is just waning? Is it? What do
y'all think? Come on now, go to LindaWillisEmpowers.org and let me know, because we're going to talk about this in subsequent shows as well, and I want to know. And maybe you want to come on and have a conversation with us. In my opinion, and y'all, this is just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it.
And it's your show.
And it's my show, right? I think two things. I think that there is a lack of dignity in our culture. Not just with young people. I think in our culture, right? That we don't have the standards of decorum for inside and outside. You hear what I'm saying?
I hear you.
See, there's inside, like you say, you use your inside voice and your outside voice. There's inside attire, your pajamas, because it didn't start with the bonnets. Folk were wearing pajamas to the grocery store and to school. I remember when my kids were going to high school and college, and the pajama pants They wanted to, kids were wearing pajama pants. So I think we've lost that. But here's the other thing. I think we've blurred the lines in our culture with what, we also not only had inside and outside, but we had what was dress up and dress down. So when you go to the beauty supply store, which is where you get the bonnets.
Okay.
They're now making bonnets, to
for the public.
To somebody that doesn't know dress up, dress down, may not know that because it's looking cute. We've got some conversations that we're going to be talking about in our upcoming episodes, and one of them is this council culture, as we've been talking about, but one of the other ones is going to be these generational wars, and I think this that we're talking about now has to do with generations. Let me know what you think about it at lindawillisempowers.org. But when we talk about the generations, I think we get into that.
Yeah.
Because I was of the old school where when you went to church, you dressed up, right? But now people want to come to church and be very relaxed.
Look, especially after COVID.
Oh, gosh,
especially after COVID.
But, I mean, it was happening, don't you think, before COVID?
It absolutely was.
Because, I mean, that was a thing that the old folk, that's what y'all were saying now, you millennials. He hates to be grouped with the millennials.
I will take that.
Y'all were saying
take that as a representative of my age group. I will take that.
Yeah, y'all were saying that's why folk don't come to church.
There is a group of us that were raised by our grandparents and stuff.
Y'all were saying that's why folk don't come to church because they, people look at them if they're dressed down and you ought to be able to come as you are and that's what we did. We said that in my day, but it was come as you are, but don't stay as you came.
That's right.
So
that's good.
Yeah. So but so now older people are dressing down.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that my struggle? I have a harder time dressing down than I dress up because I'm trying to figure out what looks good, what's appropriate, what's you know what I mean?
And I don't even have the complexity of options as I do for dressing up.
Yeah.
I have to get new tennis shoes every time it's Jersey Sunday.
Absolutely.
You know what I do? I take that jersey off on that Sunday and take it to the cleaners, and it's in my closet for next.
You take it to the cleaners.
Take it to the cleaners. It's in my closet for next year.
Yeah, for me it's the same because I don't want to go out, come to church since we're talking about church.
Yeah, and so let me say this.
I don't want to come to church. Let me finish this. I don't want to come to church looking like I'm running to the grocery store.
That's good.
So sometimes my dress down is more of a struggle than my dress up.
It is for me. Speaking of church.
Okay.
Jacqueline Carr, who is a Memphis girl. Memphis. She was the co-host with Ty Tribbett on the Stellar Awards.
Yes, she was.
And she does represent the millennials.
Yes, and she represented well.
Did she do?
Oh my God, I was godly proud. I was. She was beautiful.
Yes, she was.
She was fashionable. She was articulate.
Absolutely.
They had personable. She had a flow going. She showed us that she can do more than just sing.
Yes, she did. Yes,
and let me just say, I was just impressed with the Stellars altogether.
It was flawless presentation.
It was so polished.
Yes, it was.
Because, my issue has been sometimes we're not as polished in our presentations, especially as it relates to media and things. Yeah. And it could be just budget. It could be a matter of budget. I don't know that it's a lack of expertise as much as budget. But whoever is at the helm now of doing the Stellars, has it
Great
changed?
Job. Don Jackson is still on. Mr. Don Jackson, thank you so much for your continued...
I was godly proud.
For your continued uplifting of gospel music and those who are representing the church in music. Thank you so much for your support. Now,
because you're a singer, and let me just make a shout. Let me give that shout out. Courtney, because, Courtney, we have just got to know that everybody that watches us, they're not... Everybody doesn't attend church.
Absolutely.
Everybody doesn't know us.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so we want to make sure that we speak to our larger audience. You may not know this, but Courtney is along with being a preacher, he's a gospel artist. And let me tell you, if you have not heard his last album, that he brought out. It is phenomenal. I mean, it sends me in. And look, if some of you are watching and y'all don't know these terms we're using, like when I say it sends me in, give me a shout out on Linda Willis Empowers, and I'll tell you what I mean.
Yeah, and on the Facebook page, we probably need to do a dictionary.
Right.
We need to decode our conversation.
Right.
So that was him. But let me tell you who has just risen to be a source of encouragement during these times.
Okay.
Tabitha Brown.
Oh yeah.
And Tabitha
Don't
Brown.
You love her voice?
She is just auntie.
Y'all love her voice?
She is auntie. She makes spices and everything now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
But let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. Wendy Williams crossed the wrong one.
Yes, she did.
When she crossed Tabitha Brown.
Yes, she did. And I am so grateful for those who came out in support of Tabitha.
Yes.
Because sometimes those who try to take the high road, like she did, they don't necessarily get the support.
That's
right? Because in our culture, sometimes we like to see all the bashing and, all that. But everybody supported her. And then to see how she handled it. Oh, my God. She, as Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Yeah. And she didn't take the opportunity because she could have.
She could have, very much so. Everything about Tabitha Brown is over and above
right.
Wendy Williams.
Yeah, she could have, but she didn't do the sister like that.
She said, I wish you experienced the love that I've experienced in my lifetime.
So do you think you're there? I mean, how would you have handled it? Would you have handled it that way? Are we now so into our feelings that we won't save another? Because that's what she did. She saved her, right? She prayed for all of that. Are we now so about our own rights that we will not, have compassion and show love for the other? So y'all tell me about that. But she did. She really handled that.
The good thing about that is that she was able to, in subsequent videos and all of that, she was able to bring the public into her journey, her marriage journey.
Right.
When her husband was working a job, I think.
Let me stop and say something about that.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Because I know the issue was about her retiring her husband. All right. And I think they had been married some 15 years, 20 years, something like that. And he was a police officer. And she talked about how he had supported her in her dreams.
Put his life on the line.
Absolutely.
Going to this job. She didn't know if he was going to come home.
Yeah. So let me say something about that. I think that we're not always fair and balanced where men are concerned. That we naturally expect for men to make the sacrifice for us as women. We naturally expect to capitalize on the gains of our husbands or significant others. But I think that thing needs to be balanced, don't you? That the man who's been by your side, that's been in the trenches with you, that's supported you, that whatever he's done, I think he should also reap the benefits of your harvest as well. I mean, if you've been with him and you trust him and he's shown himself to be trustworthy, why should he not benefit from whatever reward or fruitfulness, success that you may have? So let's kind of balance this out. We talk about women being gold diggers and all of that, and I know there's some men that are like that, but everybody's not like that. And so I applaud you, Tabitha Brown, because you showed us as women how to do that thing.
So did Nicole Young, Dr. Dre's ex-wife, show the people how it needs to be done? Dr. Dre has to give her $293,000 per month.
Listen.
They were married 24 years with 2 children.
Listen, first of all, I want to tell y'all, we're just catching up because a lot has happened since I was on Conversations with Linda last year. May 18th was our last episode. So you're hearing us talk about all these topics because I've been dying to talk to you about it. So just catch on up and catch up with me. So I don't know a whole lot about this situation, but here is my take on it. Again, this is my take. If he's got it, and she was in relationship, married to him for 24 years, I'm worth more than $293,000 a month. Every year, I'm worth more than that. So if he has it, now I think it's all relative, don't you?
It is absolutely.
Now you know if I'm taking and you're gonna be starving, that's a different situation.
That's a different
but now if it's just a drop in the bucket for you,
and we believe this $293,000 is a drop in the bucket,
and I ought to be able to live the lifestyle that I have come accustomed to.
Okay.
Right?
So that's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
So was he the one guilty? Did he do something? Or are they divorcing because of irreconcilable? Y'all gonna have to tell us down in the comments. What
we talking about so many things now I can't remember. I think I don't know what he did. I can't remember. Child, it was probably something. But anyway.
But listen, not only are they getting divorced, but Bill and Melinda Gates got divorced during COVID.
Let me tell you something. COVID.
COVID, bro, and they got foundations and stuff. I need to figure out who is their grant manager. Who's over their foundation?
So I think what we have to remember is that COVID brought everybody home.
To the home that they were able to avoid.
To these relationships that, where you were not able to escape. You were not able to just come together for bills, children, all that. You were at home.
Yeah.
I remember when we were at home, and Bishop and I were at home.
Yeah.
And so there was no coming and going and stuff. And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. And so we just had to settle in like, okay, well, we're going to watch on TV.
Yeah.
We got into some different series, and we just kind of had to.
What did you watch?
So I was watching Virgin River.
Okay.
Did you ever watch that?
I didn't watch
it. It's
that.
good, and it's come back out as well.
Did you watch Manifest?
I watched Manifest. I started watching Manifest, got into it for a few episodes, and then I didn't feel like we were going to get anywhere with Manifest.
Well, they came out with the third episode.
Okay.
On
the
Netflix,
third season.
The third season.
Okay.
They came out with it on Netflix.
What did y'all watch during COVID? So I watched Downton Abbey. Oh, that was my favorite.
But you love you some Downton Abbey. You and Kelly both.
I love some Downton Abbey. Me and my daughter Kelly, we love Downton Abbey. It was so very good. So, yeah.
Is that the show where it started out where the people were dating and somebody had liked somebody's brother?
No,
the pretty girl.
This was
what
about
show am I
like
talking about? Y'all told me about
the pretty girl. Is that you talking about Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
Oh, Bridgerton was so good. Oh.
Yeah. Put the children in the room for Bridgerton because Bridgerton. I had to stop watching Bridgerton.
Bridgerton was a little soft porn.
Yeah, I stopped watching it.
You stopped watching it?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be creeping up into my downtown loft.
Bridgerton was good. It was good entertainment. Yeah, we had to repent a little bit off of Bridgerton, but yeah, it was
switched
good.
it. I don't even have to look at it no more. I want to keep my job. I want to keep on my job.
But yeah, so we just settled in and said, okay, and we just started, whether it was, putting a puzzle together. We had to go back to our earlier days.
That's so sweet.
And, this show is airing tonight, and tomorrow is our 35th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
35th wedding anniversary. And so we went back to our early days when we were broke and didn't have the money to go anywhere. Restaurants, malls, we didn't have the money to do that. And he and I would buy puzzles and put puzzles together. We would play 21 or spades or those kinds. Sometimes we would turn on music and dance and, and watch television, go sit out on the patio.
Well, none of us welcome at the house. None of us. It was just like, somebody else got to cook. We got to eat in somebody else's house. They just were not having us.
And I think that when you have that as a foundation, when you're forced to stay at home, not just COVID, because when I had the brain surgery, I couldn't do anything for about 3 months. I mean, nothing. And so he was doing all the cooking, but we were okay. Because that was really our foundation.
Yeah. And as we celebrate the show coming back and celebrate the anniversary as well, let me say happy anniversary.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm sure all of your viewers would like to say happy anniversary to you
thank
as well.
Thank you. 35 years. Ooh, I got a story to tell.
You and Bishop, you all illuminate this image of a power couple.
Oh, listen.
And I think that we probably need to do an episode about what it takes to truly be a power couple, because I see people after that, but they don't really know what it takes to have two power people in a relationship. So I've been able to witness that right up front. And so the show has different formats. Today we've been talking. You started out with good medicine. We have a sponsor.
Absolutely.
Each episode.
And let me stop right here and say to our viewing audience, you have an opportunity to be a sponsor of Conversations with Linda. You can go on our website, LindaWillisEmpowers.org, and you can sign up to be a sponsor of our show. We'll give you some good commercial marketing. We'll make sure that our listening audience, our viewing audience knows about your business. And we look forward to a relationship with you beyond just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. And with that said, Courtney, I do want to give a shout out to our first sponsor.
Okay.
Victoria Brown.
Woo!
Victoria, thank you for believing in us. Thank you for believing in me. Conversations with Linda. I've already spoken to a group of people that she is a part of, the Women's Realtor Association, and had a wonderful experience with them. But Victoria is also a realtor with For Success Realty.
And she is doing it.
Let me tell you, she is.
Everybody that I've heard that used her say that she really knows how to hone in on the specific needs that home buyers and those who are looking to sell homes, she really knows how to service those folks. So
and she's relational, and that's what I like about her. Absolutely. So make sure that if you're looking for a home or looking to sell your home, check out Victoria Brown For Success Realty. So, so back to what you were saying, we got a whole new format. Because we're taking this thing to another level, y'all. And, we're going to do it. So we got the good medicine. Now, I know my jokes are kind of corny.
You know, it's okay.
But you got to laugh. Let me tell you, you got to laugh at something. And so if you have a good joke, I love to hear a good joke. If you have a good joke, hit me up on LindaWillisEmpowers.org and give me that joke, and then I'll share it right here with our viewers. And I mean, you can come on and share your own joke. I would love it. I love to laugh. I love to laugh. I love to laugh. I love to laugh. And then let's see, what else we got?
Good medicine. We have Ask Linda.
Oh, yeah.
Ask Linda.
Let me get through these cards. We
have Ask Linda.
And so tell them about what Ask Linda is.
So you have the opportunity to go to LindaWillisEmpowers.org to Ask Linda. Now, here's the great thing about Linda. She's a pastor, she's a mother, she is a wife, and she is a therapist. So you get the opportunity to choose which hat you would like for her to wear when she addresses your question. And so I think we got a question already, right?
We do have a question. All right, our first question today is from a viewer in Nashville, Tennessee. And her question is, how do I balance being a mom and an entrepreneur? How do I balance being a mom and an entrepreneur? Well, listen, first of all, let me applaud you for, being concerned about being a mom and having the ambition and having the motivation to be an entrepreneur. I think that's awesome. Actually, the challenge we have is that we live in a place and a space where we're told we can do it all, and we really can. The issue is we cannot do it all at one time, and that's what I want you to remember. You cannot do it all at one time. And so what I want you to do is think about prioritizing your life. You said you're a mom, but I don't know how old your children are. So sometimes our children need special attention in different seasons of their lives. I don't know if you have a toddler or if you have an adolescent, or if your child is older. So assess those needs of your children, right? Because that mom piece is so important. And then determine how much of your time you can give to your business venture based on how much your children need you. Now, I can tell you, I went to school being a mom and a pastor's wife and all of that, so I know what it means to juggle. But I tried to choose a time in my children's life where it was easier for me to be away from them. So I couldn't go when they were arm babies, right? Because they needed me. So as they got, I think my children were like 7, 8 years old. So it was easy for their dad to pick them up and take them to McDonald's or whatever if I had to go to school or what have you. And then I wanted to be back for those teenage years because I knew, I needed to have that eye on them. So you assess, your situation. Look at getting help. Can I tell you that? Look at getting help. You don't have to be super mom. If you have a good community of people, a good clan of people, your village, employ your village to not only help you with being a mom, but help you with your business. Of course, get people that you can trust as well. But just remember that you can do it all. You just can't all do it at one time. And so you may say, okay, 3 days a week, I'm going to just work on my business. And then the other days, I'm going to give totally to being a mom, or vice versa. However you want to do it. I don't want to set those parameters for you, but I do want to tell you that you do have to make some decisions. And I think it's a wonderful thing that your child, girl or boy, will be able to see you reach your goals even while parenting. So I think that's wonderful. I hope what I have said has helped you a little bit. If you want to write me back and give me some more information so that I can give you a little bit better answer, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Well, it's been so good having a conversation with you today. It's good to be back in this seat. It's so good to be back in.
I am proud of you.
Ooh, Lord, I am thankful to the Lord.
Millions didn't make it.
Ooh, but I was one of the ones that did. Listen, and I want you all to know, I don't know what circumstance you are facing either, but I want our viewers to know that whatever you're going through, God is an able God.
Yes, He is.
He really is. And you have to just continue to believe. Yes. Continue to trust that you're going to make it through anything that you're going through, everything that you're going through. Another piece of our show is my Linda-isms.
Your Linda-isms, that's right. And you know I love those.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't come up with this one. I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he said, life is a journey, not a destination. Life is a journey, not a destination. And I can say that to you after all that I've been through. It's a journey, and it's full of crooks and turns. But my Linda-ism for you today is to enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Don't be so busy looking at the obstacles that you don't see the opportunities. Don't be so busy looking at all your failures that you don't enjoy and embrace your successes. Don't be so mad and bitter and angry at people that you don't appreciate the friends and family, the people that God has placed in your life to be a part of your life. All right, Courtney, this has been good.
It's been a good show. It's been a good show. So much is coming.
So much is coming. Listen, I want you all to join me at Conversations with Linda each Sunday evening at 7 p.m. I want you to go to Linda Willis Empowers and check us out, lindawillisempowers.org. Check me out there. Give me your ideas, your suggestions for topics that you would like for me to talk about. Even tell me who are some of the people that you would like to talk to. I have the ability, if they cannot come in person, to bring them in by way. Y'all know we got this technology. So give me some suggestions, some ideas. And of course, if you want to be a sponsor, we want you to sign up. We would love to advertise your business on Conversations with Linda. All right, we have run out of time, but never out of conversation. This has been Conversations with Linda. I'm Linda, and we're out of here.